Everybody, this is Dustin with Giant Rocketship. Make sure work gets to the right people. People do the right work and they do it at the right time. So I am doing my regular office hours for Autotask. I'm going to share my screen. So you should now be seeing Autotask in a Chrome window. And what I'd like to do here is today I want to focus on building custom dashboards in Autotask. So in itself, it's not super difficult to create a dashboard, but what I found is a lot of people don't really understand how to properly use the filters. Let's take an example of this really simple, just random um, widgets I've added to this dashboard. So this is broken out by all of my resources, some random ticket counts, some maybe some bad time entries, and we can also do this for a service technician. And a lot of this is kind of the stock widgets that come with Autotask. But let's tackle this with dashboard filters so we can understand how this really works. What if we want to look at this dashboard, but we want to refine what we're seeing in terms of the data inside of Autotask being presented on the dashboard? For example, let's say I'm a service manager and I want to see exactly what my technicians are seeing. If I go to this dashboard, what I'm going to see is my data. But that's not necessarily what I want. I want to see another technician's data. So let's take a look at how that would work. So I'm going to go to dashboards and manage, what's this called, service technician. It's going to be one of my shared dashboards. By the way, I see a couple of people in the chat. If you have any questions, just let me know. So let's go take a look at that service technician one. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a copy of it because just in case we make a mistake. And we're just gonna call it filtered. Now what's gonna happen, it's gonna bring up this filtered, or rather this new dashboard I just cloned. And once it's finished loading, this is my data. But really what I want is to see my technician's data. So let's see how we would do this. I would go to my tab level filter, and we're going to try a couple of different things based on the type of dashboard. But in this one, we want to also be able to see the dashboard that the technician is seeing in addition to my own. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a filter here. Now, what I want to filter on is, let me move this widget out of the way. You might not see it. It's from the broadcast. Is we are going to go look at the resource, limit selections to all, and the default value logged in resource. That simple change is going to make a dramatic difference in how I can use that dashboard. Now, it could confuse some people if you share this one, but a little training can overcome that. A lot of times people will put the resources in. And by the way, one thing I've noticed is generally you need to be a timesheet approver to see some data. It really kind of depends. So just be aware and test what you're trying to do. Now, I need to move over here. I'm going to go ahead and publish this. And that way it's on my normal screen. And then we can test and see how that works. So I'm just going to go ahead and publish it to everybody. And now we see it right here filtered. What's cool is it's still showing mine, but now I can select other resources and just see what they have. But notice, sorry, I had to do some sneezes there. So I did pause the broadcast, but notice there's no difference in this data. Why is that? So what we want to do here, oh, something got me, is we want to go adjust these widgets to specifically filter on the resource here in this filter tab. Notice by default, this widget is saying for the logged in resource. That's not going to work. And so what we want to do here is match it to the filter equal to tab level filter. And then I'm going to adjust this. It can be a little bit of work here. My open, in fact, I just realized I have to go do it on each of these um, gauges on this. So equal to tab level filter, and then equal to tab level filter, and then equal to tab level filter. We're not going to do every single widget. That would take far too long. Okay, now let's go look what would happen as a regular user. So it's going to default to I had it at Beth, and so let's just put it back as me. Let's have happens if we refresh. So this is actually a change. Notice how it's remembering. This must be some of the new user interface updates. Just a few weeks ago, it would have kept defaulting back to me every time I refreshed, but now it's remembering that it's Beth. And so I can toggle between my resources now, and then they can see, or rather, you as a search manager can see exactly what they're seeing. And the only change I had to make here was instead of using the logged in resource, is I want to use the tab level filter. What's really nice though is I can do that for more than just the resource. Let's take a look at what that would look like. So I'm going to go to manage shared tabs. I'm going to create yet another copy. And let's show all of our copy. Let's use all of them. And we're going to do some date-based filtering here. And so what I'm going to do here is date is today. And of course, now I have to go republish. It does make it a little bit of a pain. All right, so we're going to go ahead and republish by the date. Publish. Let's see if, nope. In fact, I still have to do that. All right, so now what we're going to do here, filtered by date. Now notice instead of the resource, it's allowing me to filter it by the date instead. But again, we're going to have the exact same error. And in fact, look at this, because you're doing a filter of these widgets against a resource, but that's not going to work because we now have a date. So that's completely broken, which is expected. And so what we're going to do now is let's go change that for a date range. And again, our goal here is to be able to do different dashboards that give us different data. In this one, we're really looking for work over the past week, right? And so it does limit us a little bit more, right? Now we can't say by the resource we want to look at. We'll go back to this. And this is logged in, is logged in resource. And again, I always like to reiterate what our goals are here. We're finding ways to fine tune dashboards and Autotask to give us data, but that data is variable based on some criteria that we're looking for. And so here it's going to be by current week. So we reset it and we got that widget working again, except it's not drilling it down by the date. And so my open ticket, so let's say that we would say it can be almost anything, right? Is equal to tab level filter. Create is equal to, and not surprising, same thing. A little refresh here. And so now we've gone from filtering by resource to filtering by date. And so if we look here, there's only 2 overdue that were created this week. Oh, was that for today? And so current week. Week to date might be a different metric. Let's see what would happen for month to date. Okay, we've created 7. and see how much easier it is to, instead of constantly switching into your ticket search screen or project or contract search screen, you can build filtered views that make your life a lot easier, much more similar to if you're in like a Tableau or Power BI, where you can drill down to a specific set of data that you want just by using a simple filter and type inside of Autotask. So, okay, that's what I want to focus on today. That was actually a question by one of our customers a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'd do a quick webinar on that. Again, Dustin Puryear, Giant Rocketship, and this is my regular office hours for Autotask. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.